Stage, born Dimitrij Stojakovic on January 5, 1883, served in the Hungarian military. He was promoted to general after Miklos Horthy became regent of Hungary. Stage served as a military attaché in Berlin from 1927 to 1933. He majorized his name to Stage in 1927. From 1933 to 1935, he worked in the Ministry of Defense. In 1935, he was appointed Hungary's ambassador to Nazi Germany, a position he held for 9 years. As ambassador, Stage cultivated strong ties with the Third Reich. He frequently expressed support for German policies to his superiors in Hungary. During this period, anti-Semitic measures intensified within Hungary and its occupied territories. In the summer of 1941, Hungarian authorities deported approximately 20,000 Jews. Most of those deported resided in Subcarpathian Rus and lacked Hungarian citizenship. These individuals were sent to Kameniec-Podolsky in German-occupied Ukraine. Subsequently, detachments of Einsatzgruppe, Nazi mobile death squads, shot and murdered the deported Jews near Kameniec-Podolsky. In January 1942, Hungarian military units committed a massacre in Novi Sad. They murdered approximately 3,000 Jews and Serbs in the major city in the part of Yugoslavia annexed by Hungary. Throughout the era, the German government pressured Hungary to hand over its Jewish citizens. However, Hungary's Prime Minister, Miklos Kálay, resisted this pressure, refusing to deport Hungarian Jews despite domestic calls from the radical right. As events unfolded, Germany occupied Hungary on March 19, 1944. Stage was subsequently installed as Prime Minister by the German occupiers. Under Stage's government, the policy towards Hungarian Jews changed drastically. Mass deportations to the Auschwitz-Birkenau extermination camp began almost immediately. Between May and July 1944, approximately 440,000 Hungarian Jews were deported. They were sent to their deaths at Auschwitz-Birkenau during this brief, brutal period. Following the end of World War II, Stage was captured. He was extradited back to Hungary to face justice for his actions. In the year 1946, Stage was tried in Budapest. He was convicted for war crimes and crimes against humanity committed under his leadership. On August 22, 1946, the 63-year-old Stage was executed. He died by firing squad in Budapest. There were no tears shed for Stage. There were no tears shed for Stage. His execution marked a moment of reckoning for his role in the mass deportations. Under his government, the Hungarian state apparatus actively participated in the extermination process. Gendarmes rounded up Jewish citizens from throughout the countryside and packed them into sealed cattle cars. Approximately 440,000 people were transported under horrific conditions. Their destination was primarily the Auschwitz-Birkenau extermination camp. For many, arrival meant immediate death in the gas chambers. For others, it meant forced labor under brutal conditions, leading eventually to death. The swiftness and scale of the deportations in the spring and summer of 1944 were unprecedented. Hungary's collaboration under Stage significantly increased the number of victims at Auschwitz. As events unfolded after the war, holding such figures accountable became a priority for Allied powers and liberated nations. Stage's trial was one of several proceedings in Hungary addressing wartime atrocities. These trials aimed to deliver justice for the immense suffering inflicted during the occupation and the Arrow Cross regime that followed Stage's brief tenure. His conviction reflected the gravity of his actions as the head of a collaborationist government responsible for crimes against humanity. The execution served as a stark symbol of the consequences for those who facilitated the Nazi genocide. His fate stood in contrast to the lives of the hundreds of thousands of victims who perished due to the policies enacted while he was in power. There were no tears shed for Stage. His trial took place after Hungary was liberated from German occupation. He faced charges related to his actions during his brief tenure as Prime Minister. The indictment included war crimes and crimes against humanity. Evidence presented detailed the policies enacted under his leadership that facilitated the Holocaust in Hungary. This included the organization and execution of the mass deportations of Jews to Auschwitz. The Hungarian gendarmerie, under his government's control, played a key role in gathering and transporting these victims. Approximately 440,000 Hungarian Jews were deported between May and July 1944. These deportations occurred with extreme speed and efficiency under Stad's administration. His conviction by the Hungarian People's Tribunal reflected accountability for these atrocities. The court found him responsible for the immense suffering and death that resulted from his government's collaboration. His execution on August 22, 1946, served as one of the post-war retributions for those complicit in the Nazi genocide. The legal proceedings aimed to confront the nation's role and the crimes committed on Hungarian territory. Stade, a former diplomat and military man, became a central figure in one of the darkest chapters of Hungarian history. His death closed the book on the life of a man whose political ascent was inextricably linked to the rise of Nazi power and its devastating consequences. There were no tears shed for Stade. His execution followed a verdict by the Hungarian People's Tribunal. The tribunal was established in the post-war period to bring those responsible for war crimes and crimes against humanity to justice. Stade's conviction stemmed directly from his role as prime minister under German occupation. During his 5 months in power in 1944, the systematic roundup and deportation of Hungarian Jews escalated dramatically. The Hungarian government, controlled by Stade, collaborated fully with German authorities and Adolf Eichmann's Sonderkommando. Orders were issued, logistics arranged, and Hungarian gendarmes actively participated in the brutal process. They evicted families from their homes, forced them into ghettos, and then onto trains. The scale of the deportations under Stade was immense and tragically effective in the Nazi plan for extermination. Over 440,000 individuals were sent to Auschwitz-Birkenau in a matter of weeks during the spring and summer of 1944. This figure represents the vast majority of the Hungarian Jewish population outside of Budapest at that time. Stade's past as an ambassador known for pro-German sentiments culminated in his direct facilitation of these atrocities. His trial highlighted the culpability of Hungarian officials who aided the Nazi genocide. The judgment and subsequent execution on August 22, 1946, delivered a final consequence for his devastating actions. His fate served as a powerful, albeit grim, symbol of post-war accountability in Hungary.